4,095. You're thinking, well, how in the world can that become so much? This is so important to understand how powerful this business is. So, let's say we're now in June, right? We're in June. You sign up one person in June, now you're 2. That's 1 plus you. You plus 1, that's 2. Now you 2 go out in July and sign up 1 each. Now you're 4. In August, the 4 of you go out and sign 1 each. Now you're 8. Month 4, it doubles every month. You get it? It doubles every month. Month 4, 16. Month 5, 32. Month 6, 64. Now let's just stop here for a second. I want you to understand that after 6 months using this principle, you only have 64 people. Right? And this, I use this to teach this to keep people motivated. Because some people will say, oh, I've been working for this for 2 months, but I only have 7 people in my team. He says, well, let's take a look at the schedule. You're already ahead. You're already more people. You see what I mean? You're already ahead of the game. You have 7 people. Month 2, you should only have 4. And now you only have 7. Right? So after 6 months, you have 64. But now it starts to get interesting. 128, month 7. Month 8, 256. Month 9, 512. Month 10, 1,024. Month 11, 2,048. Month 12, 4,096 minus yourself. That is 4,095 people. Is this powerful? Are you starting to realize the power that this has? And when you teach this simple principle to get them to understand, look, it will take time. It will take time. Just trust in the system. Trust in the system. Keep on going forward. Keep on going forward. You are on track. You will get this. And I tell my people over and over and over again, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in you. In so many different ways, they need to hear it. Even some of the strongest people you have in your team, I guarantee you they need to hear that you believe in them. I guarantee it. Even if they don't think they need to, they'll still get a lift. We need to hear it all the time. All the time. That somebody believes in us. So when I sign somebody up, I give them either one of my books or one of my uplines books, and I write to them, I believe in you, stay committed. Right? And I tell them almost every single time I talk to them. So, what is leadership? And how do you attract and develop leaders? So now that you understand, leadership is really what it's about in network marketing. How do you develop, attract and develop leaders? Well, first of all, let's look at what is a leader in network marketing. What is it required? Well, first of all, you need to be self-reliant. Okay? You're not going to be self-reliant right away. But that's what you must aim for. And what is it that you need to be doing? Well, you need to be mastering the 5 skills that we talked about before. Thinking the right way. Talking to people. Doing presentations. doing trainings and events, and leading and duplicating. Those are the 5 areas of skills that we must master as a leader. So you need to be self-reliant in those 5 areas. Right? To attract self-reliant, to attract and develop self-reliant leaders, we must aim to become self-reliant ourselves. Does that make sense? So, that's what we're constantly aiming for. And so when I teach this to people, I tend to have less of people calling me and asking, oh, what is the compensation plan? What do you make on the 3rd level? What's the price of this new product? See, I don't tell them that. If I tell them that, I will never create an infinitely duplicatable business. I can't, because they will continuously rely on me for the answers. They need to become self-reliant. Okay. So, this is what I've experienced. Even relatively successful leaders that get up to a level where they make 10, 20, 30, 40, even $50,000 a month in this industry. Many times they plateau, they can't get any further, and they burn out. Why? Why in this amazing industry where we should get complete freedom is this possible? The reason is they teach the people the wrong thing. They teach their people to get the answers from them. So if there's something that they can do by themselves, they must do it by themselves. So somebody calls me and says, Patrick, what's the price of the new product? I say, you know what, I don't remember. But if you go on our website, click products, you'll find it there. So I teach them not to seek out those kind of information from me, but from the system, from the sources. I teach them where to find it. Because then they can become self-reliant. And they can teach the same thing to their people. Are you with me? Yeah. Yes. It's so important, because otherwise you will be what I call a hotline leader. Just sitting there and you're the hotline. Hello, can I help you? Yes, the price of the product is $75.59. Okay. That's all you're going to be answering all day long. And you're not going to be focusing on the 2 most important things to help your people do. The 2 things they cannot do by themselves. Which is prospecting and presentations. What I mean by saying when they cannot do by themselves, they cannot do that by themselves in the beginning. Why? They're too afraid. They're too afraid of talking to people. They won't do it by themselves. The ones that are not too afraid, they will go out and they will talk to 30, 40, 50 people, but they won't get anywhere. Typically. And then they get too many no's, and then they drop out. Why are they not getting anywhere? Because if you're not there to teach them how to do it effectively, chances are they're going to say it in a way that was not very effective. Does it make sense? And if you're not there to listen to them and help them make calls, you have no idea what is being duplicated. No idea what is being duplicated. I don't know if you have this in Spanish culture or wherever you're from, but in England and in Denmark, where I'm from, we had something, we were playing this game when we were kids called Chinese Whispers. That's what it's called in English. It's called something different in Danish. Chinese Whispers. And you whisper a phrase into somebody's ear. And then, so nobody can hear it other than that person, and that person whispers it into the next person's ear. And the next person, what do you call it in Spanish? Okay. I trust you. So, do you remember that game? When you reach number 4, 5, 6, there is no resemblance to the original message. No resemblance whatsoever to the original message. And that's why we must make sure that our people hear us do prospecting, talk to people. Not practicing it, well, practicing it as well, but not just practicing it, but we actually make live calls with our prospects. So, I'll come to this in a second, which is the most powerful duplication principle ever. But before we do that, also one characteristic of great leaders is that they are good problem solvers. And this is so important. And I bet you leaders, you're going to love this. So, when I teach people, great leaders are great problem solvers. And that the bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Which is true. I guarantee you, if you look around in the world today, and you see the most successful people, not just in network marketing, but in all fields, it's people that solved big problems for humanity. Bill Gates came up with an incredible piece of code that took humanity to the next level. He solved a big problem. It's the problem solvers of the world that make the most money. And so I ask my people, do you understand that? Does that make sense? And they will always say, yes, that makes sense. So what happens is, and this is really cool. So somebody calls me and says, oh, people say no to me all the time. Or this person dropped out, or I have this problem with my team. I have this problem with my team members. This is great. It's fantastic. The bigger the problem, the bigger the paycheck. Right? So, if you really instill this idea and mindset into your people, you will help them not focusing on the problems all the time, but focusing on become problem solvers, to become to become solution oriented instead of problem oriented. How many people here have team members calling and says, oh, I have a problem? Yes? All the time, right? So what if we could teach them, wow. Problem is actually not a problem. The problem only becomes a problem when people quit because of them. You see what I mean? Because the problems is all businesses. There are problems in life. You know? Oh, so our marriage didn't work? Okay, it's a problem. Move on. Next. Somebody dropped out. Next. The journey for me to be here today has been a pretty impossible journey. A lot of people told me that I could never do it. A lot of people told me, forget about your foolish dreams, including my parents. Over and over again, forget about your foolish dreams. Just get a normal job. Who here like normal jobs? Nobody? You like a normal job? No, we don't like normal jobs, do we? But most people, they settle for normal jobs. They settle for normal cars. They settle for normal houses. They settle for lives of quiet desperation. So I'm here today to tell you that anything is possible. That changed my life. I said, I will not end up this way. And gradually, every single week, pushed myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone, a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, until I had the courage to go to a networking event. And then I pushed myself to approach people and to try to be the center of attention in the group, to overcome my fear of being with other people. And now, what has happened as a result of that? Today, I have actually two very successful businesses. I founded something called Entrepreneurs in London, which is the biggest business meetup in Europe and the third largest business meetup in the world. We have over 22,000 members in London, and we had speakers, some of the most successful entrepreneurs come and speak for us. I'm also a successful coach and trainer, specifically for network marketers. And I've been on BBC 3 times, Forbes, M&M Nation, and Entrepreneur on Fire. And I'm not saying this to impress you, I'm saying this to hopefully inspire you. If I can come from being an introverted, shy taxi driver in Copenhagen, Denmark, then you can go anywhere you want to. If you have two things, the right mindset and the right skill set. Lots of success trainers, they will tell you, you're just going to have the right mindset. But from my experience, I found that is just one side of the coin that you need. You also need skill set. Now, it's not complicated to learn what it takes to succeed in network marketing, but you do need to have some skills. It's not enough to just go out and be excited, right? Because excitement, most people cannot sustain excitement for a long period of time. They run out of excitement. And why do it the hard way when you can do it the easy way with more skills? So, because of what I achieved in network marketing, actually I reached a point in my life where I said, okay, this is just not okay anymore. And I made that decision. I was going to go all the way to the top in network marketing. And that was after 14 years of failure in network marketing. Throughout 15 different companies. And finally I made that line in the sand. I said, no more broke. And I found a company. I signed up 12 people. Within 1 year, we're 4,500 people. Within 2 years, we're 10,000 people. And that was working in spare time. And I retired. And because this is near my place, I lived in St. Lucia in the Caribbean. This was near a place that I lived in Dominican Republic. I love the tropics. And this is one of my favorite experiences in the world. My company sent me on a trip to Hawaii. And this is actually me standing on the ground above the clouds, seeing the sunset. That's one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. Imagine that, like when you're flying and you're up above the clouds, but it was actually standing on the ground above the clouds, seeing the sunset. So folks, that's just a little bit of my story, how I ended up here. And now to some of the things that have made a huge difference for me in my career. I was very fortunate to meet some amazing, amazing people in network marketing. Some of the top people. I worked directly with a guy who built a team of 1.2 million people in 5 years. At that point, he was the highest paid network marketer in the world. If you know the right things and you do the right things, you will get the kind of success you're looking for. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to cover is something that is so important for your people to believe. You know, we become what we believe. Would you agree? We become what we believe. Whatever you believe is possible, you can create. Whatever you can see in your future, you can believe in, you can create. Now, this belief is so important that you must instill it in all your team members. You must have it yourself, but I believe that all of you here, because you have reached a certain level of success, that you probably already have this belief yourself, but you must instill it in your team members. And that's that all skills are learnable. All skills are learnable. You must instill this in your team members, that as long as they keep on learning for 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 months, 12 months, they will get there. I've heard so many stories, I've met so many people in this industry, this wonderful industry, that didn't have a fast start. It's not necessarily about having a fast start, it's about sticking to it. There was one gentleman I met. First year in his network marketing career, he only made $1,000. Second year, only $3,000. Third year, $9,000. Fourth year, $19,000. And then fifth year, $700,000. Basic skills. Some of you, some relatively successful people in network marketing that are very naturally good at speaking to people. Many times they actually don't get the duplication because they're just naturally good at it and they don't understand how to train that to other people. So you must have a simple system that cannot just be based on you, but a simple system to teach what to say to people to get their interest. You need to know how to present, making presentations. Yes. You need to know how to do trainings and events. And then finally, and this is probably what most people fall down on, where most people are the weakest, and that's leading and duplicating. Right? Because, you know, that's what network marketing really is about. It's a leadership development program. A leadership development program. So we have to become leaders to attract leaders, yes? So this principle that I'm going to teach you now, it literally transformed my life. And it may seem simplistic, but I can tell you, like, when you learn how to use this and instill it in your team, it can change everything you do with your team. And there's so many ways to do it. So the only two things that will change your destiny and create your dreams, they are choice and commitment. Choice and commitment. You're here today because of thousands and thousands and thousands of small choices you've made throughout your life that made you arrive here at this destination in Swissgolden to have achieved what you've achieved today. Now, the problem with most people is they make choices, but then they change them. They make New Year's resolutions and then they change them. 4 days later. You know, statistics say that 74% of all people that make a New Year's resolution, they've changed them